third map, we are at least guaranteed to see the two. Already, we'll see how things start to warm up.
Yeah, Nuzera just going to be holding the concuss in hand, ready to find any sort of play here. I actually like the idea of Karmine Core playing a little bit more aggressively around mid. They can use the Fade Prowler, the Haunt to get some information. They haven't actually gone into that just yet. Just waiting for any kind of contact before throwing that. And with Team Liquid slowly moving back into Redgar, they're not actually going to end up investing any of that util.
Rotating the way all the way back off here, yep. Slowly creeping their way up A, straight up the alley like a silent cat, just looking and waiting for that opportunity to say go. Navera set nice and close as well. Has the ping on the camera, comes straight out for it as well, but that's where you're seeing the value of bringing along that jet. Straight out of dodge, safe though down to about 22 HP.
I mean, Scream's knife just stalls out this hit for a good 8 seconds here. Navera trying to take a little bit of a peek. With just 40 seconds left, gonna be tough to burst out here. 3 players and trips they gotta work through.
Yes, and it's given plenty of time as well for KC to get themselves rotated over here to Liquid. Gotta move with a little bit of pace, but as you say, stalled out because of these smokes. It's looking a little bit ropey, but this is where you might see this massive utility just descend on the battlefield.
I mean, they're just getting kills through smokes now. Team Liquid routed, and they lose the spike, so they have to go back and recover that. That means they must force their way into the A site. No more time to rotate on through from this one.
Cover going out.
Stalled out a little bit too long. Paranoia coming all the way through. But you can just see the crossfires that are sat here ready and waiting. There's a bit of a scrap inside the smoke, but it's safe, left alone against 4 with 5 seconds on the clock. Pistol comfortably going the way of KC.
Safe's gotta die. Okay, good. I was about to say there, you don't want to get capped on your money. So important to run in at the end there and lose the life. But I mean, respect to Karmine, very strong defense right there on the A side. A couple of spam kills through smokes. You also saw the idea before this play. Scream is actually just sitting inside the smoke and looking to pop flash out from tree as the side hit was coming in. That's definitely one of the main ideas you have on KO on those A takes or stalling out those hits. Because usually KO just going to be posted up by tree and then using that pop flash to force your way out, just catching that blind in the side of the eyes. That's really rough for attackers to deal with.
Thought that knife may well feed over pretty much everything they needed there, but not quite finding every single player as they didn't quite push through at the pace maybe expected. Safe once again, dashing his way back towards safety after taking early ground in behind the box. But look at this, 2 members of KC posted it already with those rifles. It's 3 kills across the shin. KC taking it all here in round 2. Hi, Nats.
Yeah, Nat's not going to have much fun here. But I think in general now, for Team Liquid, what I would like to see them do is sort of try and figure out what exactly the setup is going to be around mid. Oh no. Jumping and doing a 360.
Free money.
Poor guy.
What are you expecting going into the the Logitech power rounds coming up in a second as well, knowing now that you start to see a full force round come through for the first time? What are you expecting? The KC dominant?
That was like what was that dance apology video? I forget why. Some influencer just, don't worry about it. If you know, you know.
All right then, back into things. Technical pause over. Here we go for round 3. Again, our first Logitech power round. And really the time when Liquid, again, with this being their map pick, are looking to find their way into this one. First couple of rounds not going their way.
That was funky, because I saw there was a camera put bottom mid by Navera. I thought it was actually on the safe side of the wall, but it got instantly destroyed. Now just some scouting around mid. So this is what I was talking about with TL, trying to scout around mid, see if there's going to be any sort of Cypher investment in that area. But KC have 3 players ready to turn around and fight out for market.
You got exactly what I was going to touch on. 3 players on market looking to go for an aggressive swing, but we've seen it across all 3 rounds so far, really. Is Safe gets himself into a, ironically, not safe position and starts baiting out utility from the other side, and that is when he dashes away once they start committing in this utility to force him away. So making good use of that mobility, not to try and find kill, they've got to offer when it comes round to an execute itself, like we're seeing now, Ender.
Absolutely. Good knife coming out from Team Liquid, actually stopped any sort of pre-take, any swingers coming out from heaven. That allows the spike to go down relatively unscathed. Now right now, Karmine Core, they have to clear out Cat. So often you'll see a late lurk from an attacker here, trying to pinch you back into tree. So they spend a lot of time working on that. But they have plenty of util to try and farm away here on the retake.
Nothing on really going on towards short. Instead, it's just Safe popping off. Wants to really add some more numbers onto that 130 they collected last week, and he's starting it in style here in round 3. Scream, all that's left alive against 4 players on the other side, but it does feel like Liquid have found their bounce back Ender. Finding 1, still 3 more to go.
Yeah, Scream will get his, run on out of there. Team Liquid, very effective round, and it came after a little bit of early presence around mid. One of the great things that you have when you play a little bit slower versus so many initiators that Karmine Core have is you hear where they are. If they're using utility, you can pinpoint there's 2, 3 players fighting us in mid, and those are probably the B players too, so that means A might be a little bit soft. This setup in tree just not really working for Karmine Core, or for Team Liquid either. They had the paranoia ready to go, very tight in, but there just wasn't the fight really coming through on the opposite side. I think that the way that Navarro was holding in tree, it was a little bit more of a jiggle angle perhaps, and he wasn't able to find that first shot, so he D-peaks, and then all of a sudden it's just XMS stuck there with a paranoia in hand and no one to really help him out.
All right, well, let's see if after this half develops, if KC can find an answer, because we touched a bit on that last round on Safe, and they making use of the dashes as well to get in and out of these dangerous positions pretty quickly. I think this round, if not next, then you're at least going to see a couple of ults coming online as well for Liquid. Again, looking in towards the Hunter's Fury, in towards Safe having his online as well. Things suddenly start to look very scary for a couple of rounds.
Oh, Safe primed to the dash. He's ready to go on in here. Not actually even using the dash, dodging away from the concuss too. He's a man on a mission and gets out completely.
And again, there's no one that can really pursue him in any meaningful way here as well. No one that is equal on the other side, as there is no duelist pick coming through for KC. So Safe very much, again, unfiltered here and able to do as he pleases, as long as he doesn't go too far. And pull off some of the moves that we saw from, unfortunately, players like Kellogg's yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, just disastrously for Karmine Core, none of their utility actually connected on him. So he was able to sort of dodge away from the concuss that Nazero was throwing his way, get that kill, run on away. I
mean, just look at the utility difference between the two sides right now, right? KC, again, have burnt it all trying to deal with him in this early round, and now really Liquid, yes, they've only got 30 seconds to work with, but whatever they choose to commit to, they can just dump everything under the sun onto KC.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I think Nuzera just got the concuss coming back in, so there's some options now to try and fight on through with this one, but no paranoia, no flashes to go with.
Here we go as well. Good concuss coming out as well. Something really collected onto too many of those. They're still coming in for the plant. Just found the one as he was going in for the plant, but at range, it's Navarro to find the kill onto Redgar. Now a 4v4 in the post plant. Heaven under control of KC, but not for much longer. 2 quick kills, make it 3 for Team Liquid. Once again, it's 1 man left standing on KC, and Team Liquid in firm control.
Was XMS there the whole, how did he get down in hell with 3 players on site? That was absolutely nuts. Doesn't end up mattering. Nats gets the kill to close out the round. Very nicely executed there from Team Liquid, but you sort of hit the nail on the head, right? With how much investment KC had around mid, retaking, it was all going to be down to gunplay. Just the concuss they had to work with, and I mean, at the end of the day, when you're all coming through from heaven, that's really tough, right? They didn't have tree control, so Nats is just having an absolute field day over there, fighting out from tree.
Emea up in the coaching booth this time round. Funny, I actually had a conversation with him yesterday, because he and I both go back a few years now, back to the Overwatch days.
Oh, your pals, are you?
There's a few of them around, too far. I've run into, like, Latex, for example. Yeah, Overwatch days. Like, yeah, how's it going? And obviously now things have changed so much. It's just really interesting to have those catch-ups and see how things change over the years. But he seems pretty confident. Of course, we all know how locking went for these boys. After last week, it was a bit hit and miss. The 1 win, the 1 loss. Hopefully here turning it into a 2-1.
The main mission now for Karmine Core. Don't make Sideshow mauled, okay? That'll be the big challenge for them. That'll be the proof of success this weekend, I think.
Difficulty impossible, that feels like. He'll find something to mold about in these rounds.
Nah, I mean, this one obviously going to be a real toughie. Casey actually just gamble stacking over towards A after the initial pick happens on B. Sort of thinking that Team Liquid almost outthink themselves in this round, and they actually do.
Yeah, because for a second like, they were definitely going in towards B, but here comes the fall back away, so smart call by KC. The question is, do they second guess themselves here and now start rotating away? For now, they full hold.
As this hit comes through, eyes on Scream. Player with the Guardian, has a couple of flashes too. He's playing back dice, so he can sort of flash himself up over this one. Now, his flashes, unless they go deep, they would just destroy XMS and Navarra. But now we're working into a real time crunch for TL.
And here we go. Push comes through. Safe manages to get out of dodge just about. Almost
20 seconds,
going
guys.
Down, and they've got to make the push happen. They've kind of been greeted by this dump utility that was still remaining for KC. Flash is still coming on through. It's looking really ropey for Liquid.
Oh, God. They've actually just lost the round. They can't get onto site and plant. All the utility is coming through for Karmine. They're trying to fight their way out, but 6, 5, 4, the clock ticks down. There's no time to plant the spike. They have to find a couple of kills. No way. They can't come in quickly enough.
Can't find the last man. They do collect him in the end, but it's just that little bit too close at the end there. However, an extra second, that was probably their round to win.
Hey, it turns out Eyes should have been on screen, but for all the wrong reasons. He was the guy hiding, making sure he wasn't going to int over a kill at the end to make sure KC get the round in. I said it was KC that had to stop Sideshow molding. When he watches that, he is going to be clawing his eyes out. Team Liquid get the pick over on B, then super slowly rotate over into an A hit with 25 seconds left. And importantly, even though it was an eco from Karmine, they still had full utility on the breach and the KO. So there were 4 flashes coming in one after another, and it just trapped TL inside of Emea.
You just saw the kind of combo utility coming together, you know, flash, into concuss, another flash, smokes being dropped down. It was sheer chaos there trying to push in towards the site itself, but really well balanced by KC to rotate through that utility one after another.
Now XMS going to be stepping into the op role for Karmine now. That's usually what you'll end up seeing here on these no jet maps, is like your Omen. We see it a little bit on Lotus too. Just having that teleport, even though it's not as reliable to escape from the initial fight, being able to reposition is very powerful.
Oh, Safe just walked straight into it as well. Navira finding the dream man to find. Still had a lot of his utility online. Yampi finding that XMS though, down to that 4 versus 4.
Still a tripwire. So burst on through. Actually, I'm looking at Shin now, repositioning over towards Tree. Nats has tried to replay for tree control late in these rounds in the post plan, but there's going to be 2 players with a pretty nice swing. They can play that 1-2 and punish him if he goes forward.
Just posting up super close here as well. We've had a lot of fun.
He knows.
With the shorty yesterday. He knows they're going for... Will change at the last second and loses his life for it. Classic Valorant timing moment. Scream finds 2 though. Soulcast 2 to find for himself, but feels plenty doable, assuming they didn't know where he is, but they do! And Soulcast wins both. An easy flick from head to head. We're up to 3 and 3.
Looked a bit personal for Soulcast on that kill over into Scream. That was brutal. I mean, dodging away, only getting clipped a little bit on that breach flash. That was so important for him to stay alive. That being said, KC looked like they had this one, right? Scream was able to find a couple up from heaven, but that dodge.
Nice! Good job, Tommy. Good job.
I love it.
He appeared to love it even more. 4 ults online for Liquid then, and this is where things can really start to get rolling. Giving it over to KC as well, though. NuZero's only 1 away from having his on side. That Rolling Thunder, as we know, especially with these slightly tighter sites, just so impactful.
Well, the thing is, if Liquid slow down a site hit again, this is going to really give them some serious issues with those ultimates. Now, I don't envision that happening, but the way Liquid play, it's been a lot of trying to catch, like, oh, is there going to be an early push, something like this, but I actually don't think KC are really ever going to go for early aggression. The main benefit that you have from Jet is, like, she wants to take open fights. She wants to hold those angles very early on. And Karmine Corps just don't have an agent that wants to do the same thing. Yeah, you know, you can gamble it a little bit and go for a fight here and there, but it is definitely not the same thing. This drone over towards B, though, has been able to pull a couple of rotates.
But Knife taken out, so he's got no idea if there's 1, if there's 5 there, but all he knows is there is definitely someone starting to move their way forwards.
It's so odd, though. It's like fake on fake now. We're down to 40 seconds. We're about to run into the same situation. Now, luckily, this time, the gamble stack was incorrect for Karmine Corps.
Oh, I like this.
And Rhaegar sticks that one.
Yeah, straight into jail as well. And obviously, they suspect now. They know that the smoke is coming on A. They have the perfect reading. The smoke came into A. He uses his ult. Man, I wonder where he's going to possibly ult to. Back of B seems like the go-to place, and he's absolutely correct. You saw every member of KC flooding over towards B, but it's a little bit of a bottleneck, and they might be walking into a slaughter.
Oh, this is tough. Yeah, no way to get on through that smoke. A very different looking anti-eco there from Team Liquid, right? Instead of faking into the A, it's a fake B. You have a lot more options in terms of how you want to set up this fight, but I think it's going to be less about early space taking from Karmine Corps and more about reacting to these side hits as they come in.
We're at that kind of point in the half as well where we were saying yesterday, round 8, use it or lose it. These ults have got to come online now in this round if you want to have any chance of getting them up again before the end of the half. If you have it committing to just towards 1 use, so be it. But now will be a good time to see some of these come online, especially given there are matching forces on the other side, and there comes the KO wall.
Yeah, that was actually Soulcast slamming that one, trying to force it on through here, and it's good, right? Just trades 1 for 1. They'll be able to resurrect him. Safe getting the kill with the wall hacks through smoke too. And it's just Scream stuck here on stairs. They're trying to clear him with util, but he's good for 1.
It's good for literally 1 as well in the name of Scream. Safe onto a third in the round as Redgar's getting that spike down. We've got a 2 versus 3 here in the post plan.
Really tough position to be in. Now Shin has ultimate, but would have to cast that from B main or near a lane if they want to commit to that, giving up the flank. I think you clear B main and then use that ultimate onto site. Get the blood trails. You know it's going to be all players on site here, so you may as well go ahead and slam that one, but not if you walk into a knife, and now they have to fight without it.
Both of them doing it as well. Yeah, it's got Safe playing nice and tight here as well. Up nice and close, daring them to step forwards. But at this point, it feels too little, too late as well. The paranoia doing enough words to slow Shin down for even a second. They know this one's done and dusted. Either you commit that ult about 20 seconds prior, or you give up on it entirely. And their answer has been to give up on it entirely.
I genuinely believe Soulcast won the entire round with utility right there. And a lot of it was Karmine Corp playing way too close up and personal and not respecting the KO ultimate, right? They're playing like on top of the wall, even with these big ultimates, trying to sort of fist fight their way through without using the ults themselves. See, they're moving into it, but the fact that Soulcast instantly snaps the null command, they're like, oh wait, we actually can't use our big spells. And then on the retake, slow, maybe deliberating how they wanted to use those abilities, they end up not casting the Fatal because they walk right up into a knife. Not ready for the cooldown to be back up, and Soulcast catches those players twice. So we had all 3 big power ults up the last round. Now we've got a 4th. Karmine Corp using nothing.
As well, because Navira's 1 point off.
Yeah.
They are going to be online, and we've got to see them start getting invested here. Admittedly, you know, great play coming out from Soulcast to make sure none of those can come out in response.
But this is why I'm a little bit perplexed, because they're fighting really forward in A main this round with those 2 players. And now, not a terrible idea to do that such a thing. They're actually on a half buy right now, so I respect it a little bit more. If they were doing this on a full buy, I'd be not the most thrilled.
Not quite a Leo level shock dart coming out there on the way through, with the recon one above definitely not too bad.
I know.
Going to give at least a bit of info over, and out comes the hack as well. They'll have everything they need to start making this work for them. Liquid once again looking in control, but made us back away for a second. Okay, 2 rotated back out towards mid as 3 remain on site to get the spike down.
Are they going hunting? They're expecting
Yes,
a flank, going for a bit of that. Now Shin was the only player with a rifle in a recoverable range. So
this is one hell of a flank from Soulcast, by the way. Oh, but Scream was ready.
Yeah, not quite able to dodge the flash entirely on that one. So all things considered, they're able to grab the 2 rifles, and I think in the next one, they will be okay. It'll just be 1 player that won't be able to have a full buy between Shin or XMS. Actually, saying that, no, I think they can all buy, because they only purchased 2 rifles and they recovered the 2, so they'll be actually completely fine going into the next one. Very important kill. Scream was able to find on the opposite end there.
At this point, what do you think KC are doing wrong? What is it they need to get back on track?
I mean, well, a big part is we've just been seeing a lot of swing rounds. They've lost like 3 ecos now, I believe, which is just unfortunate. But on top of that, like, we've had these ultimates for 3 rounds now, right? And again, last round, we don't expect them to use it. But now I do not want to see the forward fighting with those initiator tools. I think the round prior, where they were playing like really weak around mid, and sort of giving that one up, I think that's the right approach, just not, again, playing right forward on top of wall. Now, luckily for them, this time around, Soulcast won't have the ultimate, although he's getting plenty of kills, so as I say that, he actually isn't. He just got the one death at the end there. So yeah, I just want to make sure they're not in positions to be hit by KO knives and playing to quickly retake as the site hit is coming through. The second you hear the plant coming in, that's when you slam those ultimates and you put a lot of pressure on TL.
I mean, the battle ready for TL is that, well, not the battle, more the kind of benefit for them is they've got enough to carry them through the rest of this half. Even if they get completely slaughtered for the next 2, they still got 4 buys to come out the whole way through.
Yeah, this is good though. They're playing inside a market. They can play to try and pop flash out of that smoke. Never mind, Scream repositions over towards Switch. But the way Liquid have been playing consistently has been relatively slow, trying to hear where the players are on Karmine Corp, then go for these late re-rotations. Camera will get broken in mid, but there's a real world where if TL decide to move into A, the majority of players are going to be going into tree, and the position that Shin now has taken in Wine could be absolutely brutal. There's also like tripwires that he can play off of on site. You have Nuzera that can slam an ultimate. So I think actually Team Liquid moving into B is going to be much better for them.
Well, they catch the one, but it's not the one they were after. The one off towards the left, Scream was caught out by that paranoia, and they chose to rotate completely through mid, just get tree completely smoked off, and then put all your focus back on towards B. So this tree hit really is working for them, catching KC a little off guard. XMS gets one back, but site has been conceded.
those ultimates, man. I need to see those ultimates used again. Just finding Scream and Nevera in positions where they're having to take fights. Actually, it was Scream that was just stuck down in logs. Just a miserable spot to be in, getting pinched in through mid and main. If you're not playing for mid control, you can't hold a spot like that unless you have B main too. You gotta have one of those, or you have to play much further back.
You know, completely blindsided as well. It felt like there was no real expectation that this was coming, even with the tree smoke coming out, probably suggesting that either they're rotating back through A main or back onto B via market. Just wasn't a read from KC.
Yeah, they didn't know exactly. They knew players were in mid, and they were just kind of waiting. I think their positioning over on A would have been absolutely perfect if something like that had worked out.
Unfortunate.
Hey, I mean, he's just trying to grab a gun and escape. He, at the end of the day, won't be too unhappy. All right. Huddling up.
Which means they just back away and come back 20 seconds later like, hey, we know you've barely got anything to slow us down this time. And the thing is, as we've gone through that process of waiting to see any of these 5 ults used, Liquid just keep on building up more of them. They've got 3 of their own on side now, and they can pull off another play, making use of Redgar if they want to here. It worked so well last time.
Yeah, one thing that Karmine Core realized from the last turn is actually this wine position, because TL are playing slowly, is something we should be tapping into a lot more. XMS also has the ultimate, so he can escape if worse comes to worse after just getting 1 kill. That angle playing there with the paranoia is just really, really nasty and hard to deal with.
I mean, so far all they've seen is Safe come a little bit cheeky out towards market. Backed away and towards relative safety. But just reminding them, I am still here, guys. Just be mindful. I think earlier on he was trying to bait out a bit of utility, but it simply didn't come. So actually we are seeing a little more patience being shown by KC, who for now at least hold on to the majority of that util.
Oh, hit that tripwire. Oh, how are we not coming? There's a trip there. Nevera capitalizes on the kill, but it's already going to be a pivot over to B. Look, KC bit on it entirely. Once again, Redgar has ultimate. He wants to go into Boathouse.
They're ready. They're posted this time around off towards the spawn side of B, which means they're ready and willing to fight. Out come a flash as well, and they get the swing on the back of it, even through the smoke as well. They don't care about this. Soulcast is sitting going for the plant, but they've got the cross ready.
Yeah, Nuzera has ultimate for the retake. That's why there's 2 players of TL still in B. Also with the chaos of how that round played off, they're going to try to dodge away from all of it.
4 ults invested in the round as out comes the Hunter's Fury as well. They see a couple, no one's going to go down, but they even get tacked up on the way through. It looks like it's not going to go the way of Team Liquid though. Finally, KC battle their way through, but what did it cost them? Absolutely everything.
A win's a win. I don't care how much it takes, and they didn't even have to use Nuzera's ultimate on that retake.
Which is probably the one you want to be saving in this situation too.
I mean, look, Scream just played that very nicely, playing through his smoke, finding 1 kill. Even before using the ult, was like, I just have to get my 1. And then, with those players in a really tough position, right? Because the rotate was relatively slow. The Omen ult went sending all the way in to backside really early. So the rest of Team Liquid couldn't really get out of B main comfortably. They were trying to play away from the big ultimates there too. And it just meant the smoke happened, and the second your Omen falls backside, that's an easy flood retake from Karmine Core. And that's the energy we need to see from them again in this last round with the breach.
It does feel if they pull this back to being a 7-5 half to Liquid, then they've really snagged out a bit of a steal, because for the vast majority of these rounds, Liquid have just been so dominant. Peeking into the op.
Yeah. That's your information tool. Your fade.
Not anymore. Now you're trying to lean pretty much solely on Scream. Doesn't have a knife at the moment, mind you.
There is just this camera that Nats put down to make sure there was not going to be any forward steps from the defense. I think we may see something similar again with a bit of a tree fake into a pivot into B. Now the spike is on Redgar. This makes things a little bit more alarming for them. But if they pinch Nevera here, force him back, break a tripwire, anything like this, they could pull the rotates off, and that makes the walk into market easier. Instead, they're just going to quickly split on in with the knives to very easy entry for Safe.
Yeah, good interrupts on towards the drone then coming out, but at this point they know loosely what's coming. They got the right idea. Didn't quite have gun in hand at the time.
Rolling
But
Thunder.
here comes that Rolling Thunder. It just envelops the entire site. Every single member of Liquid scatters out to the high winds, and for now at least he's looking for a way back into things.
Huge stall though, Safe does use knives. I think you got to entry with those. Sees Nuzera in backside, Scream in a fantastic position, but the flood comes in, they're pinched, and they fall. 2 players now on the flank from Karmine Core though. Still Soulcast playing back towards spawn. They might not even need him. Yumpy's there for 3 on the round and takes it going into the second half for TL.
again.
Just yet. I'll like this a lot, I think, if Karmine play a little bit more of that slow down pace like we saw from TL. Looking to see if they can use their util to punish any early A or B main aggression.
Yeah, it really becomes that story of, can safe be denied here by this team as they come pushing on through and get particularly aggressive. We saw them doing it. I want to say they did it in the first half. They did keep him quiet, but they had to burn a lot of utility for it, and we saw that ultimately coming back to cost them rounds, especially as we were going in towards the last 45 and 60. More of these shock darts, huh?
There.
Poor Scream, down to 39 health. Feels
particularly
bad, man.
punishing in these early rounds when no one's buying these shields either.
Yep, you're going to get 1 or 2 tapped. It is not a good time. Some off angles now. Oh, I love how Safe is trying to play outside of the smoke in mid, but a great Prowler forces him back.
And here he is as well. A little bit messy there between Redgar and Emea, but it's Redgar coming out on top, finds one back onto the other side. Safe expecting a while to his right, but simply not the right place to be. It really has become a battleground here in mid, but yet no one really looking too dominant just yet, 3v3.
I mean, the A site should belong to Karmine Core. They just have to get the spike out of here. Safe's continuing to peek out through the smoke in mid, and now the walk up from Shin is absolutely massive. You can see Nats is maybe worried about that lurk, but Safe not quite so much. A huge kill to go down. And now Nats, unless he can find something, this round is over.
Bailed off on the plant as well. But it's all going to come to some work here as well. For one coming up as well from main, unless Nats can win it out here in a 1v2, and he gets 2 as well. Down goes the spike. Can he make it a 3 to clutch out the pistol? Of course he can. 9 and 4 for Liquid, and that's one hell of a way of turning around what looked like a lost situation.
Just Nats things right there. Those players low, they've been weathered from the pepper shots Safe was throwing in mid earlier. The shock dart from Yumpy as well. And just made it so simple. Actually, great catch on our observers. Fantastic seeing that high flash out of the KO. Very hard to dodge away from that. You can't really hear it coming in as well as the right click. I absolutely love it. And that was all for the aggressive mid-fight from Team Liquid. I'm pretty sure, because we also saw Paranoias coming through as well. The majority of peaks Safe had in mid were informed by utility or preceded by flashes to make it a little bit less of a coin flip when he makes that peak.
Well, let's see again if we have another battleground start to form around mid. That seems to have been the battleground both today and yesterday for the most part. That first half maybe a little bit quieter than you come to expect, but just showing a little bit of presence there. Make sure that these two players holding close, and the Cypher and the Omen aren't too easily pulled away. Looks to be another tree hit though coming through for KC. Good night.
Redgar just lost his head. Oh man, that is rough. Now, this round will only be decided. Obviously, KC, tough on the money, but in a world where they're able to find a pinch with Navera and a good timing, it's not going to happen. The forward fighting, Team Liquid far too aware for that, and all of a sudden it opens up Nats to take tons of space outside of B. He can look to late round pinch in towards tree. The spike will be planted, but I actually really like the positions Karmine Core have taken. And it forces 2 players on Team Liquid to play fully solo on the retake, which is not ideal with the rifles.
No, but they have also got potentially 3 angles all coming together here. As long as they get the timing right, this could be absolutely beautiful. Double smoke to combat from Safe as well, and it's worked so well for them. They've managed to get out safely and even find one back onto the other side. They've got to deal with the one inside of Heaven here. They know exactly where he is, and it's such a beautiful retake coming out from TL, abusing all 3 angles, making great use of those late smokes, and crushing KC.
I respect the attempt out of KC, trying to use those flashes to cheese out a couple of kills. But Team Liquid just winning theirs in tree, in Heaven, just shut down the entire round, even with some of the really forward spots that Karmine Core were able to grab onto. So now really does come the test for Karmine Core.
For Scream especially, it was so important that his team won that push in towards A main, but not finding the kills, instead losing it through the smoke as well to Safe, and I forget who was with him, but the 2 pushing in together meant Scream was then suddenly worried about both A main and looking off towards Heaven. You can't watch both at the same time. You can't quite split your eyes that far apart, unfortunately. So it just looked far too comfortable for Liquid.
Soulcast has been doing his KO homework. Look, if you're a KO player and you're right-clicking more than half the time, you are trolling. Now, Redgar caught trolling a little bit there too. I think the flash actually was slightly, the flash is going to pop as soon as it possibly can, but I think the fight was taken just half a second before.
It did come flying over the top, as you say.
Yeah, oh, we hear the camera. It's the same cam every time, but Scream whiffs.
Wrong spot, wrong place.
Oh, are they going to swing off the camera tap? Nope, they're just going to get murdered.
It looks about ready to. Again, a slight mistiming as well, because you had the drone coming through, but immediately player going down that was meant to be playing off the back of that, so it's looking a little bit ropey here for TL.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's an idea there to try and punish, to tap into the cam and then double swing instantly. I don't love going for the drone there. Obviously, they didn't know the players were in B main. It had been all quiet for Karmine core, but I think that's one of those ideas you can have as a Cypher player. If you know, like we saw previously, that cam has been getting shot at and broken before.
I don't really feel like here, like Yampi's 100% aware that there's someone tucked in just to his right-hand side. But it's not even him the one to worry about. It's the other two, including the Spike. You've also got the Breach rotating over. So KC, they acknowledge they've got big numbers advantage on this site and just say, right, boys, it's go time.
30 seconds left.
The concussing backside. I mean, great util control. Just watch your minimap when a hit is coming in like this. Like, Yampi was hit with absolutely everything. Still somehow at a slight window in which he was going to be okay as he just absorbed the Prowler, fought through the pain, but...
Prowler looked like it missed as well, kind of got stuck behind him and didn't really seem to have much of an impact beyond that. Now Safe and Soulcast, it all to do. By the looks of it, we're not even going to see Soulcast bother to get involved here as well. He's watching out more towards market side down mid, maybe expecting a late rotate coming across from A as well, but there's nothing to be found. KC very comfortably taking round 15.
Yeah, KC are heavy armor enthusiasts, so kills here especially are meaningful for Team Liquid.
I just totally don't think anything to come. Not finding a single one, but there is a good bit of chip damage down across the team as well. 3 armors that will need to be reborn back up to full. Beautiful round.
Wah, wah. All right, now TL gonna run in with full buy, but I mean, right there, I think nice punish on the attack from Karmine core. Team Liquid a little bit, I don't know. I feel like droning there with just one player able to swing, maybe a bit ambitious on the defensive side, trying to catch. Maybe there's just, oh, maybe it's just one lurk player, maybe it's just 2 people, and we can win that, but ends up getting shut down there from Karmine, so a good look from them. Heading into this round, Ultimate's pretty far away from KC, except for XMS, so options to close out late round into B like we've seen previously. But this default from KC has been pretty constant. I think we've seen this a couple of rounds now where it's just the breach outside of A, Nat's trying to put down, or sorry, not Nat's, Navera, another N Cypher, putting down that tripwire actually kind of forward in A main with a camera too. So trying to go for that late A main pinch after working through tree off the bat.
Yampi feels almost exclusively on suppression duty here as well, making use of the information coming in from the recon and then making the Odin sing not too long after. Now, not going to see a chance to have that really get to work or start singing because KC, as of yet, haven't pulled out towards B. Even at the start of the round, everything has been mid and towards A.
That was another left-click flash from Soulcast to try and get Safe into B main. Just heard that one, so love to see those ideas coming on through. Now we do see the split hit from Karmine. It has to be a split hit to give them the highest chance of coming away with this. But the problem is there's going to be a paranoia. Redgar's position on Switch, the second they see some people, he can hurl this paranoia when he hears the footsteps coming in, and then Nats and him can both swing off it. It's brutal. Or they just stall with it. A little disappointing.
They've kind of got themselves held up here, KC, at least a smidge, but they've still got that numbers advantage they're looking for. A slight miss as well. Will he find more than one? No, he will not. Gets one immediately responded to by the other side. And now it's all down to Soulcast on back of sight as well with some help from above. Here's Angel on top. Nats bringing one down too. The last couple to march through here. Looks like they've managed to turn it around as well. These 2 against 4. Done all they need to.
Yampi with shock darts coming on in clutch. Knows exactly where the player's trying to plant that one and coming on down. The Odin bullets between the legs. That's a classic Ender's Game moment right there.
Yeah.
Enemy's gate is down type situation. Using the legs as protection. I like it.
You're really digging into this.
Yeah. It's the name, man. Don't judge me. Terrible move. Actually, fun fact about Team Liquid. So, Ender's Game, it's a great book. Terrible movie.
I was about to say terrible movie.
Terrible film.
I haven't read the book, but the film was not great.
The lead in it, who played Ender, name's Asa Butterfield, who is a brand ambassador for Team Liquid. A huge Dota fan, I believe, as a matter of fact. So, crazy little tie-in that I just finagled us into. Doesn't mean anything for this match, but...
But it's a fun little snippet that I'll take away and be thinking about when I tuck into bed later tonight. Now Odin swinging once again out towards B. Not really made too much great use. I don't think there's a read on the side of KC that they're expecting this Odin to be there, and so far haven't bothered posting up in mid with the op. And this has sort of been the story for both teams. This sort of dance around mid. Tree has really been a big focus in this game so far that both teams have, deliberated a number of times and often committed to, but market pushes I think we said maybe 1 or 2.
Before there was Gecko with his 10-second util cooldown, there was Cypher. Throws the camera 15 seconds after pulling that one back so they can slowly take a little space. XMS is opping on attack, though. That is a bit surprising, to say the least. It's interesting, too, because I thought KC were going to do more of just using util, like, shut down aggressive.
I thought we banned
defensive
ourselves from
opping
using
mid.
that word.
That was yesterday. We can say interesting today.
Okay.
Totally all right. But yeah, gonna make entering in here a little bit tough. Actually, really like the spot Redgar's playing.
This is feeling like that earlier round from Liquid back in the first half, where things, the clock especially.
He's throwing the smoke kind of deep on site to give him a better angle on this too, so he can focus more on Tree, but is only getting one before traded out.
Feels like they're walking into a bit of a utility dump, but they're not too careful though here, KC. 15 seconds to go. They've got to make this move happen now.
And there's going to be a late pinch. Watch Safe. Safe coming in right behind on Tree. Sees the first. XMS absolutely clueless. Turning around. There's no time. KC got a save.
Yeah. That's the problem again. Smallest thing goes wrong in the last 15 seconds, and
Yeah.
that's it. Done and dusted. Liquid
Wow.
up to match point.
Match point.
I do think it's cool, though, noting how Redgar was throwing the smokes on A, because usually, this is like something Lothar will talk about a lot. It's like, if you give space on the site with smoking on defense, you're trolling, because it gives them more space. But I think with the position that Redgar's playing, it makes sense, because A, it lines up where he's looking from the door to Tree where the players are coming in and where they could be swinging out of his smoke, so it's a little bit less, less left to right. But also, with it coming out there a little bit, you have to choose which side you need to flash for a little bit more, unless you're using the breach flash, of course, going to be an option. But there's a chance where he could just be dodging away from a flash or focusing the fights he's taking. I think that's definitely the theory behind why he was using it there.
Ult-wise, 2 and 2 apiece, with 2 more about to come online for the side of Liquid too. Soulcast 1 off, Cypher 1 off as well. There's just more than enough to work with here, I feel, to close this one out. Be surprised if KC, given how the last few rounds have gone, and the fact they're running half an eco here as well, really just shows you the way that you expect this to go.
I think Safe was surprised to see someone just chilling there. The first time he didn't even fire a shot. Shin just looking for a tripwire there to try and break.
Once again, by the way.
Yeah. Now, importantly, check this out. So, Scream has ultimate, so Nats is playing on A even though his trips are on B. That's so that the KO ult, if it was a B exec, would not shut off his utility. That's really smart Cypher play. It's something you need to be tracking. Holding down tab, making sure you're prepared for the ults the other team has.
Oh, no, 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 no.
Yeah, also,
not like this.
You want to press tab to see if Safe's on the other team, because then you just dodge. That's
just FF at that point.
Yeah.
It's game over, done and dusted. Even the ult comes online in case he feels that he really needs it to rub salt in the wounds. Luzera finds Nats at the very least to give his team a small breath of hope, but Scythe stands firm. 3 kills for himself. Navera, the only one left standing. This feels like a Liquid map through and through.
Don't worry, guys, I got